Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's just me this week. Maria is off at an event, having a good time, meeting some people, actually doing an in-person event again, which is kind of cool to be going back to, finally doing that. She loves interfacing with people and, actually getting in, able to talk to them and hear their stories and all that. So I'm just going to fire through as many questions as I can. Because it's just me, hold with me as I'm kind of reading the questions and trying to pick the ones to answer and all that. So if there's little gaps where I'm reading, I apologize, but I will get to as many of these as I can. So first question is, why do blood sugars above 100 in the morning happen on a keto carnivore diet? Is there a need for concern? It's something called adaptive glucose sparing. It's basically where the body is now primarily burning fat as its fuel. And so that leaves more glucose around because it's not burning as much glucose for fuel. It preferentially burns fat for fuel. The muscles prefer to burn fat. So when you're keto adapted, it starts to burn more fat as fuel and not as much glucose. That leaves more glucose around, as well as when you are burning more fat for fuel and losing weight, what happens is the glycerol backbone on a triglyceride molecule goes to the liver. 3 glycerols make a glucose molecule, and that gives more glucose as well. And you're not really burning a lot of glucose. So it just leaves a little bit more around in a fasted state. What typically will happen is after you eat a well-formulated keto or carnivore meal, it'll come down. You'll actually have blood glucose that drops after eating, which is pretty common with this lifestyle, but opposite of what most people end up having happen. So is it a concern? I'm not concerned about it. If it's in that 100, 110 or less range, if it's a lot above that, there might be something else going on. But personally, it doesn't bother me. Let's see. Trying to stop coffee and heavy cream in the morning, looking for an alternative morning drink. I'm a huge fan of all your books. Thank you, Jody. Basically, I would look at, depends if you want it hot or not. A lot of people just subbing an electrolyte like Element in the morning. They feel great with that, in the morning, getting some electrolytes in and all that. If you want something warm, you could do a chocolate Element in hot water. That's kind of almost like a hot chocolate type flavor. So that would be kind of good, or like a mocha almost, just without the coffee. So that'd be something you could try. Let's see. Let's see. All right, here we go. This is going to be a little challenging for me to do by myself. Usually I'm searching for questions while Maria is asking them. But okay, let's take a look at this one. My husband has high blood glucose in the morning. What can lower this, or can it be cured? If it's kind of back to what we were just discussing, what you can try doing is move the first meal to right away in the morning. And so you have a protein meal right away in the morning. That can bring morning glucose down. Another reason for morning glucose being high is dawn phenomena, which is cortisol rises an hour or so before you wake up. And that cortisol rise tells the liver to put a little glucose into the bloodstream to get your body moving for the morning. And that can cause a little bit higher glucose in the morning too. Moving a meal to the morning can really help a lot of people. Just brings the morning glucose down a bit. Let's see. Perfect amount of and type of magnesium to take. 3 years keto. Sometimes when I swim, I might get a foot cramp. Still suffer constipation. I would look at that chart we have of the different electrolytes. Make sure, it's not just about magnesium. It's also about potassium and sodium. magnesium is definitely good for everyone to take. And we always say glycinate form. Glycinate's one of the most absorbable. Hi, Autumn. Great to see you here. Let's see. Keto 3 years, continue to struggle with edema in my left lower leg. Any suggestions on dietary changes? I would check on electrolytes, make sure your electrolytes are right. And then, make sure you have good macros. If weight loss is still a goal, the macros on our blog, you can go to ketomaria.com and go to our blog and then look at the calculator to get good macros for weight loss. If that's still a goal. Okay. And before I go too much further, I just want a shout out to the YouTube people who are doing any, what's it called? The super chats or super stickers. We appreciate any support like that. Let's see, black coffee on Carnivore, yes or no, and why? Well, I mean, there's definitely a lot of people that do it. I would say, what's your why? Why are you doing Carnivore? If it's for autoimmune protocols, like, autoimmune disorders, Lyme disease, those kind of, bipolar disease, I would ditch the coffee as well because it is a plant. So if you're doing an autoimmune protocol, if you're doing it for weight loss, it might be okay, but most people we find do better with weight loss as well without coffee. So definitely something to try. Oh yeah. Thank you so much, Keto Nana, for reminding me. We have ebooks and lots of really great ebooks. And every week, if you share this live, we'll be picking someone to get a free ebook from that. So share this, and then each week we will pick a winner. And this week's winner, let me pull it up here. This week's winner is Dana Dorsey. So Dana Dorsey, you have a free ebook coming your way. Just message us at support@keto-adapted.com. So Dana Dorsey, you win an ebook. So anybody who wants to share this week, next week we'll pick another winner. So thank you so much for the support, guys. Let's see. So just heard of protein sparing modified fast a couple days ago. I'm now reading into it and doing it my first day today. Awesome. Keto carnivore for almost 2 years, but in a stall. Hope this will start weight loss again. Yeah, I think it will. It's really a powerful tool, Nicole, and I think it can really help you for sure. Let's see. Can you do keto or protein sparing modified fast with mild kidney disease? Yeah. So shoot, I wish I had our other normal computer here. I would show you. We have testimonies from dozens of people with chronic kidney disease. Some of them like stage 4 kidney disease. And with this lifestyle, they are able to go down to, stage 3 or stage 2, really reverse a lot of the kidney disease issues or kidney problems in general with this lifestyle. So a well-formulated ketogenic diet, I think, is ideal for kidney issues. Can collagen be counted as protein, and if not, why? Yeah, so think about collagen. It's great for a lot of things, for skin, for joints, hair, but it's not a complete protein. It doesn't have the right amino acids to build muscle. And when we talk about a protein goal for the day, that's a goal for protein to get enough complete amino acids to maintain or build muscle. And so it doesn't really count for that because it doesn't contribute to that. So when you talk about hitting your protein goal, just don't include the collagen. Include the calories, just don't, include the collagen protein, or just go over by your protein goal by how many grams the collagen was to make sure you had enough. That would be my recommendation. Let's see. Will you ever stop craving sugar? Yeah, that's a good question. I think with time, you definitely can. It's everybody's different. I think that there are definitely people who can benefit from even cutting out natural sweeteners eventually, just to try to break that sort of cycle. Initially, natural sweeteners and having treats with one of the natural sweeteners we approve of can really help with the transition for those cravings. But it may be good at some point just to cut all sweet flavors, just to shift your palate, just to kind of get away from some of that. I think that can be helpful for people that struggle with it. I think over time too, just being keto for, a year, 2 years, 3 years, you just kind of shift your palate away from that as well. So I think you can get there. It can take time though. Ketones are always 0.2 in the morning. I have to time restrict daily to get past 0.4. Lost a ton of weight. Been strict keto for a year. So here's the thing about blood ketones. Number one, we don't tell any of our clients to track their blood ketones because it doesn't really matter. The blood ketones have higher blood ketones has no correlation to better weight loss or results. There's never been anything that showed anything like that. And you can have very high blood ketones and gain weight. Okay. What happens also is as you are keto adapted longer and longer. So if you're keto for a year, 2 years, 3 years, the blood ketones actually come down because your body gets more efficient at using the ketones for fuel. And what are blood ketones? They're just a difference of fuel generated, so fuel made within the body, and then fuel consumed. How much of the ketones got used? What's left over is what's in the blood. So if your body's really efficient at using the ketones, your blood ketones will be lower because your body's using them. So we don't ever really worry about blood ketones. Been keto, not the correct model since 2018. I've recently diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and my primary doc says no more keto. Thoughts? We have helped tons of clients with Hashimoto's using a ketogenic lifestyle. It can make the cells more receptive to T3, and it can help a lot of people. We've gotten people off medications for Hashimoto's. I think a health assessment would be, or actually we have a thyroid supplement plan for just $25 on our keto-adapted.com. Go there, check it out. Some supplements can really help as well as diet. So yeah, it's definitely great. Can be very good for thyroid health. Let's take a look at this one. Do you have to be in ketosis or fat adapted to lose fat and reverse my insulin resistance? Because I want to eat 50 grams of total carbs, excluding keto vegetable carbs, and that may put me over 50 grams of total carbs sometimes. It depends on your situation and your goals. We always say try to stay around 20 grams of total carbs, or at least maybe less than 30 grams of total carbs, because it just works best. It works well for controlling cravings. And there's so many people that have a bad relationship with carbohydrates. And once you start creeping the carbohydrates up, it drives more hunger and more eating. And so you get in a bad cycle that, for weight loss and for reversing insulin resistance is not going to be good for you. But the fundamental thing, if you want to look at our YouTube channel, please go to our YouTube channel and look up the video on insulin resistance and how to shrink your fat cells. That explains how you can shrink your fat cells and quickly, the fastest way to reverse insulin resistance in that video. So I highly recommend you check out that video. Let's see, try to find another one here. Here's one. I'm stalled after losing 148 pounds. First of all, great job. That's amazing. Seriously. I've been stalled for over a year. I've maintained since. What do you suggest? I'm very low carb. I would try adding a couple protein sparing modified fast days. Add 1 to 3 days in a week. Forces the body to burn more of its own fat for fuel. But protein sparing modified fast is probably the best tool there is for breaking a stall. So I would give that a try. We also have ebooks at keto-adapted.com for protein sparing. Okay, let's see. First of all, I just want to say thank you, Elizabeth. We really appreciate that, as well as the sticker from Danita. Very much appreciated. Very thankful for any of your support. How many elements should you drink in a day? It depends on the person. We generally just tell people to go by their body, right? If you're getting a lot of salt on your food, you might not need too much element. If you don't salt your food too heavily, you might need more. And myself, I don't salt my food a lot, and so I drink generally like 2 a day, I think, on average. Anywhere from 1 to 3 is good, but go by your body. If you're feeling extra thirsty, just add another electrolyte to the mix. All right, jumping around here. What can I do for more energy? I used Element daily and all my blood work came back normal. Keto for a year. Definitely start with electrolytes, when their energy is an issue. I would also look at your macros. We've had many clients who do like a protein sparing day, and they increase the protein and dial fat back a bit, and their energy goes way up. I also talk about this in that insulin resistance video. If you don't get enough protein, to burn fat in your cells, it's called the Krebs cycle. That's how you burn fat for fuel. To enter the Krebs cycle, the fat has to first bind with oxaloacetate. And where does the body get oxaloacetate? It gets it from carbohydrates, but we're not really eating many carbohydrates. So the other way you can get it is from protein. But if you're not eating a lot of protein, you don't get enough of this oxaloacetate to burn the fat directly in your cells. And so the fat has to get pushed into the liver and turned into ketones to be burned outside of the Krebs cycle. So you really want protein. And so if you're eating under, maybe 100 grams of protein, I would try upping it to get enough protein. Let's see. Where are we going here? I'm going to keep looking here for a good question. This one's a little long, so it looked like it got cut off, but so you might have to break that up into a couple questions, but let's see. I'd really like to know, I've been keto and carnivore for many years. I'm currently doing protein sparing book, but I have kind of dumb question. There's no dumb questions. I was watching a fairly popular YouTube lady who lost 200 pounds on keto. She is clearly doing something right. Over 200 pounds, it's fantastic, but she said 2 things that really concerned me. Okay, so that's all further I got, Christine. Christine, please put the rest of your question in a comment, and I will pick that up in a minute. How do you find out more about protein sparing modified fast? Start, number 1, with our YouTube channel. We've got several videos about it. We did one of these lives together about protein sparing. So definitely start there. But go to keto-adapted.com. We have 2 ebooks all about protein sparing, The Art of Fat Loss and the Protein Sparing Modified Fast Cookbook. Both those ebooks are all about protein sparing and make it really easy with meal plans and grocery lists. She's been strict carnivore, no dairy for the last 9 months, still want to lose another 10 pounds. Type 1 diabetic, A1C and inflammation has improved tremendously. Great job. That's awesome. Yeah, protein sparing would be a great option for you. I would check out those resources. Let's see. Having trouble meeting my protein goals on protein sparing modified fast days. One thing I want to point out on that, on the calculator, if you go to our keto calculator, we give protein sparing macros as well. The protein sparing macros increase the protein goal. That's only really done to help with satiety because you're not eating a lot of calories. And so because we want to cap the fat at 30 grams and carbs as low as possible, that means, protein is the only one you can change a little bit. And we up the protein just to help with satiety and for those days. that doesn't mean your goal has increased necessarily. If you at least get your regular keto protein goal, you don't have to add the extra protein if you're not hungry. Okay. So I just want to point that out. Coach teenagers that struggle with weight. Yes. Maria's worked with lots of parents and their kids. We've worked with quite a few younger kids, under 10 years old, working with ADHD and different issues, and seen some amazing results. So yeah, definitely. How can I stop my 8 p.m. cravings? I do so good, then all I want is a snack, or nor nuts than anything. Yeah, if you look for something crunchy like that, that's a lot of times that's, is it cravings or is it routine? A lot of people, we get into a routine where you just like to have something crunchy at that time. Something you could try is, like Maria does, a little snow cone. Sometimes she'll do the, shaved ice with a little flavoring on it, and that kind of gives you the crunch and stuff that you can satisfy that without any calories. But yeah, that's probably the best suggestion. Let's see. Can soul water cause diarrhea if you get too much to start? Soul water is basically like an electrolyte mix where you just make it with some water, sodium, maybe a little magnesium, potassium. Yes, if you do too much of salt in general, too much salt can give you diarrhea. So it's actually the primary thing we do if you have constipation is to up your salt to get things moving. But if you get too much, yeah, you can have diarrhea. So you want to, if you're getting that situation, you want to back off on that a bit. Let's see. Thank you, Gary. Check that out. Thank you for answering. Thankful for you found some real folks. Oh, thank you so much. That's much appreciated. Let's see. I wish I could be home for Maria's book signing at Love Ice Cream. Oh, yes. Heidi, it would have been nice to see you again there. May have to get creative with Love to change my Amazon order delivered to Love, and then more goodies from a shop. Yeah, they are absolutely amazing. If anybody's in the Twin Cities area, we're doing a book signing at Love, a little just kind of get together. They have amazing, everything in the store is keto, ice creams, chocolates. They even have some baked goods now. It's really awesome. And we're doing I can't remember the date. It's coming up here. You can check our mariamindbodyhealth.com. Go to events, and in the events, we have all the events we have going on. Okay, let's see. I've been doing strict carnivore for 4 months now. I still have lots of loose stools. Does this mean I'm doing something wrong? Thanks for your time. If you're adding a lot of electrolytes, magnesium, sodium, maybe back off a little bit. If you're not adding a lot of them and still have this issue, I would take a look at adding digestive enzymes and HCl, hydrochloric acid. HCl and digestive enzymes will help you to digest the meat better while your body adapts. So I would give that a try. Yes, somebody, Hannah says, I agree. If I stay under 30 grams of carbs, I have zero cravings. Yeah, that's the big thing for us is it's not about macros in that situation, really. It's more about, or the energy that's coming from the carbs. It's more about the cravings and hormones that it drives. And that's why we always try to stick to that, like 20 grams. It's the best for driving satiety. And we have a hello from London. Awesome. Welcome. 3 years keto, 3 months carnivore. If I eat too much lean meat one day, the following days, my body is craving fat. Why is that? Why is happening like that? I think it depends on the person and your situation. If you're a leaner person, so let's say you're 10 or 20 pounds from your goal weight, then the leaner days are going to be harder because if your body doesn't have as much fat to tap into. If you are 100 pounds overweight, that's probably going to be less of an issue for you. You could do very low fat days and feel fine. Let's see. Have no gallbladder. How does this affect ketosis? Many women over 40 have no gallbladder. Yeah, I mean, the common bile duct remains when they remove the gallbladder, and that's why you don't die, because you still need to process fat. And so you still are able to process fat. And if you're trying to lose weight, your dietary fat's probably going to be less than it was eating the standard American diet. Because the thing about standard American diet is it's high carb and it's high fat. Like people, if they do an honest analysis of their diet when they're eating the standard American diet, it's high in both and moderate protein. So when you eat this way, you just cut the carbs out and the fat is the same or even a little less than you were eating before. You just drive a lot of satiety by cutting the carbs down. But you can add like ox bile, digestive enzymes to help. The Now product I'll link below has ox bile in it, and that can help with digesting fats if you need it. Keto for 2 years, lost 130 pounds. Awesome. 40 to go. Recently diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver with fibrosis stage 4. What would my macros be? Also, so sorry about hearing about that. So I would, we have a macro calculator on our website. If you haven't used it yet, I would start there and use the macros we give you. And then it would depend from there how your results are and any changes that would be made. Holy cow, I think I just lost everything. Okay. Oh, Elizabeth, thank you so much for the sticker. I appreciate it. I'm going to have to skip ahead a little here. We've got a lot of questions coming in kind of fast. Just purchased the Art of Fat Loss. Do you recommend having your last meal 2 hours before bed or stop at a specific time every day? We always say shut the kitchen down at least 2 or 3 hours before bed, because adding calories and then insulin that will go up from eating anything interferes with HGH production at night, and you want HGH to rise after about a couple hours after you fall asleep. But insulin is an antagonist to that, so always shut the calories off about 2 or 3 hours before bed. Okay, let's see. Thoughts on doing protein sparing macro 6 days and 1 fat loss macro. Doing well on protein sparing and have 40 pounds to lose. Will 6 days mess up my metabolism? That's pushing it further than we like. We usually say 1 to 3 days. And if you're doing that, 3 days a week, or it pushed to 4 days a week every week, you definitely want to be doing overfeeding days. Overfeeding days are days where you basically eat at maintenance with fat and protein going up, not carbs. And that helps keep any metabolic adaptation from happening. But yeah, pushing it that far with 40 pounds to lose, that's being a little too aggressive, I think. Just give it time, and the protein sparing and regular days with some overfeeding days thrown in will get you there. Let's see. Trying to find some more questions. This tool jumps around a little bit. Okay, part 2. Hey, we got to part 2. Awesome. She said 2 things that really concerned me when I questioned her, but didn't answer. So I dropped it because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. She teaches 2 things: macros, which is fine, but she told someone who was not hungry and forgot to eat that they had to cram down food. They're missed macros for that one single day at bedtime, or else they would lose muscle. I asked her for 1 day. She didn't answer me. So in general, if weight loss is the goal, don't eat if not hungry. In general, that's a good rule, right? But you do want to try to meet your protein goal every day. Now, you could be under on protein a day if you're just not hungry. But then in general, we don't recommend fasting longer than 24 hours. So get some protein in for the day. But if you aren't hungry and you're under on your protein goal for the day, just try to make it up later in the week. If you average out to your protein goal over the course of the week, that's totally fine too. So some days could be under, some over, average out, and you're fine. Where to start? We have tons of books and ebooks and programs and support options on keto-adapted.com. That's a great place to start. Or just go through our Keto 101 on our YouTube channel here. Lots of great videos. Can consuming too much stevia stall weight loss? No, it's stevia is 0 calories. So it's not going to stall weight loss, not on its own. The stuff you eat with it can. So typically you're eating a keto treat, which most desserts are high fat. So the stevia in the high fat, it wasn't the stevia that's causing a stall, it's the fat, too much fat. So, and we have a part 3, awesome. Do you think I should eat my macros late at night or anytime one day if I'm not hungry? I always thought eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. Generally, yes. But you want to focus on protein in the meals. And like I said, if you average out to your protein goal over the course of the week, that's fine too. Quickly explain protein sparing modified fast. It's a day where you have minimal to no carbs and 20 to 30 grams of fat, and then you hit your protein goal. And the protein goal is, you can get from our calculator, it's about 0.8 times your lean mass as a minimum. You can go over that not without any issue. It forces the body to burn more of your own fat for fuel. If you're limiting energy in the diet, carbs and fat, the body has no choice but to take more fat from your fat stores and burn it as fuel. That's just how the body works. I mean, it's got to get energy from somewhere. Unless you fall down and you literally can't move because your muscles are frozen and they have no energy, they're getting energy from somewhere, and they'll get it from your own fat stores. Is there anyone that should not do keto? I have never seen a situation where I wouldn't recommend this lifestyle. Animal proteins and low carb veggies, I think is healthy for everyone. Part 4 too. Also, this lady stated that full fat Greek yogurt is part of her plan and that you only count half the carbs because they're consumed. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. There's our claims about that, and there's claims about that with kombucha as well. But some of the things, there was a study that looked at the store-bought kombucha and it had as much as 300% more sugar in it than the label said. So I wouldn't trust those things, no. Let's see. Let's see that. Are there exceptions to the keto rule? Is it more dangerous for some people? No, I don't think that. Again, eating meat and low carb veggies is healthy for everyone. The body doesn't need carbohydrates. You're getting carbohydrates even from meats. Eggs have carbs, liver has carbs, but the point is your body can make all the glucose it needs from protein. Gluconeogenesis enables you to be in ketosis and makes glucose. Maria's been keto over 20 years. I've been keto, 16, 17 years. And we feel amazing eating this way. We've helped clients for over 20 years, hundreds of thousands of people. Most people, the vast majority of our clients stick with this lifestyle because they feel so good. And the weight loss is just kind of a side benefit to how good they feel. So let's see. What protein do you use in a protein shake? We We typically do egg white protein powder because if weight loss is the goal, we try to stay dairy free. So we wouldn't do the whey. But egg white protein is very complete protein. But we don't, in general, if weight loss is the goal, we don't promote drinking your calories. It's always better to chew your food, register satiety, get all the vitamins and minerals that come with that steak instead of the protein shake. So that's what we would prefer, is just to stick with whole foods. What's the main cause of waking up at 2 a.m. each night? Low progesterone. 9 times out of 10, or maybe more, it's classic sign of low progesterone. And so what you want to do is add evening primrose oil 3 times a day, 1,300 milligrams. We'll put links below. And then Progest cream before bed. And that will help boost your progesterone levels a little bit. And that will help with that issue. What can cause hair loss on keto? Well, any major change in diet can cause some hair shedding. It typically stops after a month or 2 and then grows back, a lot of times healthier and stronger. It's basically new hair follicles pushing out the old ones. So it's part of any major change in diet. One thing that can exacerbate it is not getting enough protein. If you get enough protein, typically it's limited. Yeah, the Love book signing is August 14th. Thank you. You have any experience with vegan keto? Honestly, I don't think you can do vegan keto healthy. You can't get enough complete proteins unless you're doing like lots of protein powders, which, in general, I don't think are the healthiest options. Eating whole foods is always going to be better. You get all the vitamins and minerals that come with. Without eggs, I just don't think you can get enough complete protein to maintain your muscle over time. Again, without a bunch of protein powders, which we don't promote. So if you vegetarian, I think it's possible because you eat 12 or 14 eggs a day, you can get enough decent amount of complete protein to get there, or egg whites. We have vegetarian meal plans in our Easy Dairy Free cookbook that are well designed. So got the Art of Fat Loss and want to print it. Can you share where you recommend getting printed? Yeah, you can get any of our ebooks from our website. They're all PDFs. You can have them printed out. Print me and then the number 1.com. That's where you can get them printed out. It's a great website. They bind them and everything and ship them to you. What does your keto carnivore package entail? As a combo of keto and carnivore for weight loss? Do you recommend to just do keto for weight loss? Our packages are a combination of a bunch of really educational videos, cooking video and cooking technique demonstrations, what are good health markers, what's, healthy living lifestyles for keto or carnivore, and the science behind all that, meal plans and grocery lists. It's kind of a complete package of everything you need to understand the lifestyle and then implement it. For weight loss is about macros. Whether you do keto or carnivore, either way, it's about macros. So getting your macros right is the most important thing for weight loss. So go to our macro calculator, and whether you want to implement that with keto or carnivore, either way is fine. To maintain, should I increase my carbs? You don't have to. If you want to increase them a bit and you don't get what we talked about earlier, additional cravings as you up your carbs, because a lot of people will get that. They add in more carbs, suddenly they have more cravings, and now they're eating more, and then they start gaining the weight back. So it really depends on the person. Some people with real issues with carbohydrates will want to stay in that 20, 30 grams of carbs per day. Depending on the person, if they don't have those kind of cravings and issues and they're very active, they could increase the carbs some. But you don't need to. You can if you want to. Depends on the person. So we lose weight. Should we redo the calculator? If you've got an accurate body fat measurement, you don't have to redo the calculator. Protein is your goal based on your lean mass, and your lean mass shouldn't really change much as you lose weight. If you're doing proper macros and getting enough protein, your lean mass will stay the same. It's just your fat mass will come down. And so all you have to do is follow the principles in the calculator. Protein's a goal, carbs a limit to stay under. That doesn't change regardless of weight. The fat macro is a limit, and so you dial it down as needed to lose more weight. So if you're stalled, dial the fat down a bit. So you don't really have to redo the macros in that case if you follow those principles. Bone broth a good source of protein? No, it's primarily collagen. And so, back to the earlier discussion, it's not a complete protein. So you don't really want to have a significant amount of your protein coming from collagen. Let's see, scanning here. What about seed oils, canola oil? Yeah, we avoid those very much. Omega-6 oils are easily oxidized, and those types of vegetable and seed oils are they're not good for the body. They're not good for weight loss. They're easily oxidized and cause problems in the body. We stay away from those as much as possible. Let's see. Scanning here for another question. Let's see. Eating less than 20 grams of carbs per day but not losing weight. What are your protein and fat macros? I would go to our calculator. If you're not eating enough protein and you're eating too much fat, you'll stall. So it's all about macros, getting those right. Okay, let's see. I'm scanning ahead. How much do personal consultations cost? And how does it work? If you go to keto-adapted.com, you go to shop, our consulting services are in there. And they're very complete packages. You get a ton of information and interaction with Maria or I. We both do phone consults. So you have a couple options there, but you can check that out on our website. And any of this you can get to if you just go to over here, ketomaria.com. We have links to all of this stuff. Let's see. I've heard this a few times, and some of the information on this. Is it an endocrine disruptor? No, it's not. We've used it for over 20 years ourselves and with clients, and we've never had any issue with it. I know there's a recent study that came out. I didn't dive into the details of that study yet, but it's been used for 30, 40, 50 years as one of the primary sweeteners in Japan. I don't think it's an issue, no. Is there such a thing as too much protein? Yes, technically there is, but it's in practice, it's kind of impossible to overdo protein unless you really start upping your overall calories. The reason being, 150 grams of protein, that's a lot of protein for somebody to consume, and you just get full. You just get full to the point where you can't eat anymore. And if you're just eating to satiety, you're not trying to force it, it's really hard to eat too much protein, unless it comes with too much extra fat, and then that causes a stall. Let's see. So been keto for years, trying different things like fasting. Protein sparing modified fast is working. Lost 10 pounds and inches are coming off in a few weeks. Awesome. Yeah, that's very, very, very common. So many people try it. Not only they feel great, the weight starts to fall off. Protein sparing is really, really a powerful tool. Let's see. Can you be successful in this plan drinking organic Life Boost coffee? In general, yeah, I mean, it's it's not required that you cut out coffee to lose weight and whatnot. We just use it as, if you're stalled, it's one of the things to consider cutting out is the coffee and caffeine to help break a stall. Let's see. Can I eat instead of eggs? Any animal proteins are great. We don't fit into we kind of do the more European of, doesn't have to be eggs for breakfast. We have, burgers or, bunless burgers or whatever we feel like for breakfast. That first meal can be whatever you want. Let's see. What is a good Progest cream brand? The Emerita is the one that Maria uses and recommends. I'll try to remember to put a link to that below. What about keto for depression? Yeah, keto is amazing for depression. There's something about the brain that loves running on ketones, and you get mental clarity, you get reduced depression, anxiety. We've Maria has spoken at a traumatic brain injury conference, as well as a conference for veterans with traumatic situations. It's incredible for brain health in general. So definitely worth it. I was going to search. I thought I saw a super sticker here. There it is. Scottsdale, thank you so much. That is very much appreciated. I appreciate the support. Let's see. Do you weigh food cooked or before or after cooking? Before. We typically always weigh things before cooking. Just a lot easier, and that's the way most of the calculators are set up. Let's see. This morning, I've eaten the protein-sparing modified fast pudding, 2 slices of keto brioche, 2 fried eggs with half an avocado. My macros are 35 fat, 11 carb, and 54 protein. That's just for breakfast. Yeah, that's pretty good. If weight loss is your goal, I would consider less avocado, because that does have quite a bit of fat and carbs as well. And we tend to count total carbs for best results. So I would consider maybe less avocado, a little more protein, but 54 grams protein for breakfast is pretty good. Another meal with another 54 grams, you're at 108 grams of protein. That's a pretty good goal for a typical sized woman. If you're tall, if you're like 5'10" or taller, then you might need more than that. But otherwise, that looks pretty good. Let's see. Regarding carnivore, is it possible to eat too much of one particular protein to a point that I don't feel that great when I eat beef continuously? It's probably more about boredom and that kind of thing. It depends on your why. We always talk about what's your why, because if you're doing it for autoimmune, Lyme disease, etc., you want to follow the protocol or just start with beef, then introduce other proteins to see where your tolerance level is so you can have some more variety. So I would do that, just introduce one new protein each week and see how your body reacts. If your body's fine with it and you enjoy it, add that protein back in as well. And then they had reintroduction phases, which we treat this as a lifestyle. You don't have to reintroduce the other foods. You got a lot in the early Atkins. They got a lot right. They got a lot of things right in those early Atkins books. They kind of devolved over the years, and all the Atkins products, the processed food junk in the stores, that kind of went off the rails. But the early stuff was pretty spot on for the science and information it presented. Is it possible to gain weight after 3 days of protein-sparing modified fast during a week? No, I wouldn't say it's possible. Well, let me preface that. You could obviously gain some water weight, water retention or something for some reason, whatever you were eating. So that could affect the scale. If you've been under eating protein and you jump into a protein sparing day and you get significant protein, the body might gobble that up and, repair skin and do building of tissues that it's been because you've been under eating protein. So that can kind of bump up lean mass a little bit, which will affect the scale. But that's also why we try to focus more on measurements or how you feel, because the scale does not show body composition changes. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead. Let's see. Any tips on to detox carbs quickly? I'm ketovore, but on vacation and overeat carbs I'm not used to. Now I'm suffering. Tips is to get through it quickly. No food since yesterday. Should I fast to heal? I wouldn't fast longer than 24 hours. As far as detoxing, I mean, you're not really detoxing them. You're just getting over that you flip the switch back to being more of a sugar burner. So you got to come back to being more of a fat burner. Basically kind of a mini keto adaptation phase. So that just takes time. Just eat the correct macros and you'll be fine in a couple days. All right, let's see. What else we have? Christy says, thanks, Craig. Never thought of it like that. It makes it so much easier to manage. Awesome. Glad to help. How about coffee and diet soda? Well, I mentioned coffee earlier. Something to try omitting if you're stalled. Diet sodas, we like Stevia. That's got sweetened with Stevia. That's a good option if you want a soda. We don't like the artificial sweeteners. Many of them have issues with the body, like sucralose can be hard on the thyroid. So we avoid all of the artificial sweeteners just for general health. So who do you think the coach program is for? In a couple days, we reopen our coaching program for enrollment. It's a complete program for showing you how to be a coach and to coach other people. And it includes a business in a box with even a branded website and everything you need to start out coaching right away. So we wanted to do this because we wanted people out there coaching people and to reach more people, to help more people, doing it the right way. And we follow a lot of great science in the program. And so anybody who's passionate about helping others, it can be a great program for you. Should the protein sparing days be in a row or spread out during the week? They could be either, whatever your preference is. If you want to do them consecutive or spread them out, either way is fine. Carnivore for a week and still not in ketosis is going to take a long time. Depends on how you're determining not in ketosis. If you cut out carbohydrates, keep them below maybe 30 grams of total carbs per day, you'll be in ketosis regardless of what the blood or breath or urine meter says. You'll be burning fat as your primary fuel. If you cut the carbs out, and within 2 to 3 days, you'll be ketogenic. Let's see. What about acne? 19-year-old keto and has seen no results. I would make sure to cut 100% of dairy and nuts. Dairy can be a big trigger for acne for a lot of kids. Have trouble reaching my protein goal with what high-fat foods can I add to reach my goal? Well, high-protein foods. Read that wrong. Sorry. Yeah. To reach your protein goal, eat the protein first. Prioritize for eating protein. And then stick with the leaner cuts until you get to your protein goal. So, start with fish, seafood, chicken breasts, leaner cuts of red meat like 90% or leaner hamburger or filet mignon, tenderloin, those kind of cuts. Do those cuts, eat them first, and you should be able to get to your goal pretty quickly. Let's see. Losing audio. Oh no, I hope it's not losing for everyone. I got a few more minutes. I'm going to get a couple more. Let's see. Is keto a good method of controlling hypoglycemia? I'm not diabetic, but I do have fibromyalgia. Fasting glucose typically runs around 70. Yes, it is, because hypoglycemia typically results from carbs going up too much, and then insulin reacts, and then it comes back down, and it overshoots and it gets too low. If you're stimulating insulin a lot less and eating a lot less carbs, it stays more stable, and so you have a lot less hypoglycemia events. So yeah, this lifestyle is great for that. Let's see. Okay, looks like some audio issues, but it must be an internet connection issue. Hopefully it's back fine now. Diet soda, yeah. So again, I would do the Stevia or there's some other ones. I think Virgil's has a erythritol sweetened diet soda. Stay away from the artificial sweeteners. They're just not as healthy. Let's see, a couple more questions here before we jump off. Let's see, smoky. Hello, Nina from Paris. Hi, nice to see you. For persons prepared to modify fast, can you eat a pork chop? Pork chop is okay. Just trim the fat. So, usually have that fat ring around a pork chop. Trim off all that fat, and then a pork chop can be fine for a protein sparing day. Let's see if I can grab another one or two here. Some silly questions out there, I see. Okay. I'm going to grab like one or two more questions here, and then we will sign off for this week. Scanning questions. So evening primrose oil, you suggest 1,300 milligrams. Is that 3 caps? Depends on the one. Just look at the bottle and whatever dose it says to get about 1,300 milligrams. Do that dose, and then do it three times a day. Let's see. So don't have any trouble meeting my protein goal. Can I eat extra? Yeah, in general, going over your protein goal is not a problem, as long as fat is under the limit. So if you're still hungry and you want to add more protein and go over your protein goal, that's fine, as long as calories and fat are in check. Kombucha, I mentioned that earlier. No, kombucha is not something we recommend. They have sugar in them. Never drink drinks with sugar. I mean, just especially when you're trying to be keto. Just don't drink anything with sugar. Yes, it eats some of the sugar, but it doesn't eat it all. And what does it turn sugar it eats into? Mostly alcohol, which is also not great for weight loss. You don't recommend any fat meats? Again, it depends on your goals. If the goal is fat loss, you don't need the fattier meats during that stage. Maria and I are in maintenance. We eat tons of fatty meats. But if you're trying to lose body fat, you want the leaner cuts, because that will help you burn more of the fat off your own body. Having more fat in the diet means you burn less fat off the body. If your body's already high fat, you need to lose fat. The diet doesn't have to be high fat. It's really pretty straightforward. Okay, maybe one or two more here. I'm scanning. So no alcohol. I mean, again, this is one of those, can you have one or two drinks on the weekend while you're trying to lose weight and be okay? Sure. If you're serious about losing weight, or if you're stalled, cut the alcohol, 100%. I mean, it displaces all other fuels for oxidation, and so you're going to burn the alcohol, and anything you eat while you're drinking the alcohol is just going to get stored, carbs and fat. So yeah, if you're serious about losing weight, or if you're stalled, definitely cut the alcohol. Okay. Let's see, what else? How long do you recommend your eating window? So intermittent fasting is something that works well for a lot of people. Mainly it just helps limit snacking and overeating of just kind of mindless eating. You stick with 1 or 2 meals. It's not required. So, I mean, if weight loss is the goal, macros are more important than any intermittent fasting. So if you're doing 1 meal a day and you're not hitting your protein goal, eat another meal. I mean, macros are more important than, any intermittent fasting for weight loss. Let's see. May anyone share thoughts on CLA? CLA is something we recommend for certain conditions. We have supplement plans that are great, detail when to use supplements and what supplements to use for different conditions. Those are available at keto-adapted.com. There's lots of supplement plans out there. Where is it here? Are canned smoked oysters a good protein? Yeah, they're good. Oysters in general are great. Watch the oils. If they're like packed in vegetable oil, try not to eat that oil. But if they're packed in water, that's great. So if in maintenance, high fat is good. Yeah, definitely. I mean, 99% of people want to lose weight when they're doing keto or coming to us. And so, yeah, we talk about leaner cuts of meat for those situations. If you don't want to lose weight and you have different goals, like, seizure control or just maintenance and health, then yeah, you up the fat. So basically when you transition from weight loss to maintenance, carbs can maybe go up a little, 20, 30, 40 grams, depending on the person, but generally not a lot of change there. Your protein goal stays the same because you got the same lean mass. Your fat is what you adjust. So that becomes the only variable. If you want to lose weight, you'd lower it. If you want to maintain weight, you raise the fat. If you want to gain weight, you raise the fat even more. So it's pretty straightforward. Let's see. So should one fast if they lost their period while on keto carnivore? No, I would not fast in that situation. In fact, I would maybe even limit intermittent fasting and spread the meals out in that case, because fasting could be a contributor to losing your period if you don't eat anything. Thanks for everything you do. What's the best way to up my HDL? Primary way is diet. Keto has been shown to increase HDL over time, months and months. You start seeing an increase. Exercise, of course, is another great one. And if weight loss is a goal, strength training is awesome. Strength training is huge. You want to add strength training because you get more muscle, so you're stronger. More muscle means higher BMR. You're burning more calories all day long. Let's see. Is watermelon okay to eat? If weight loss is your goal, I would not eat watermelon. It's just carbs. It's just sugar. So yeah, I would avoid it if weight loss is your goal. Thanks, Craig. Love you guys. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. Let's see. One more here. Thank you, Craig. I watch all your teaching videos, and thank you for awesome drone videos of the whales. Oh, thank you, Ruth. That's very nice. Yeah, we try to. I got to get around to posting more of those on this channel. We have some amazing drone videos of the whales. We love the whales in Hawaii in the wintertime. So, all right, everyone. I think we're going to cut it off here. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week is July 4th. I don't think we're going to do a live next week because of that. So the week after, Maria and I will both be back on here doing another live. So thank you all and have a great day.